my mother was a high school principal for 18 years.
Wow.
I was the only one of her children to graduate.
High school?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Silence.
No, there you go. That little.
Right? Yeah.
I'm first generation to graduate college.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm careless. It's college.
I mean, you did it though. I didn't do it. I did it for 2 years. I had a full ride to go to the U of A.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon.
And how the hell did you get a full ride doing with that?
I just never had a summer. My mom enrolled me in every single AP class I could possibly take.
The same mom that's the principal, right? Yeah.
My mom hyper focused on me.
Wow.
Like she got her doctorate and was in college pretty much my entire life. Like she was always in school.
Wow.
So she had really high hopes for me, but I think it was just kind of her projecting a little bit. So she took full control over everything, and I wanted to be an artist, That was kind of my wave, but both my parents were like, no, you're going to use this money to make a life for yourself.
Orthopedic what?
Orthopedic surgeon. So I wanted to work on feet and ankles and knees.
How'd you land on that?
My uncle is an orthopedic surgeon, and he's probably one of the greatest people I've ever met in my entire life. And he was a really awesome mentor for me. He would take me in on surgeries with him, and he encouraged the hell out of me to do it. So I thought, if someone this great believes in me that I can do this, I'm just going to do it, because I don't really know what my purpose is in life otherwise.
So you spent 2 years.
I spent 2 years doing that. And
so you got your associates?
Yeah, pretty much.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I completely dropped out and just didn't want to go back to school. So
why?
Because I found this. Yeah.
Fair.
I met Sammy, and I cried to Sammy every single day and told him how much I hated my life. And during that time, I lost a lot of people that I loved. I lost one of my best friends in a car accident. My grandmother died. And I just kind of lost my...
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those moments where I wasn't sleeping, and I was drinking all the time at 19 years old, and, just wasn't making good decisions.
Yeah.
And just wasn't doing well in school. And I was like, is this going to be my life? Am I going to just go to school for life, And I didn't want to do it anymore. So then it took me 2 more years to learn how to tattoo. But I got here.
Yeah, you're here now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
I'm 24.
24? So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm 80, but I'm 24.
I mean, you've already gone through so much crap.
Dude, yeah. And it's not even just my mind that feels old, it's my body. My body's
just the constant strain.
Dude, for real.
Yeah.
Chronic pain sucks. Living in pain 24 hours of the day, and the only relief that you get is when you fry your brain to oblivion with weed. That's the only relief I get. I can't do that at work, because obviously you can't be an idiot and tattoo at the same time.
Even though so many people do.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Nice. So
I just rambled a lot.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good.
That's fine. Yeah.
The web.
The web of rambling.
The web of my ADHD brain. What's up?
Nice. So I went through college without playing video games my first year, and I suffered. I got a 1.9 GPA. Academic probation my first semester. Yeah. So, and we all know, the second you do poorly in school, it's damn near impossible to recover. Yeah. Damn near.
I know that for sure. Sorry, I know that for sure. I was leaning back.
You're good.
I never really had any extreme academic downfalls until I completely stopped going.
Sure. So you were a good student.
I was an amazing student.
Lucky you.
My whole life was school, but I didn't have friends. I didn't socialize. I was a very quiet kid. I only cared about doing my crafts and being completely alone. I hated people, but that's because the people in my life absolutely just tormented me.
Sure.
So I assumed that everybody was an evil narcissist. My best friend in middle school bullied me out of middle school. So I was homeschooled for 3 years and turned into a giant weirdo. So in high school, in 8th grade, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which immediately gave me a pass to get out of school all the time. I had what's called a 504 plan, where my mom could call me out, and I had no if I didn't go to school, it didn't matter as long as I submitted my work. So the majority of my high school experience, I probably went to school probably like a year and a half, maybe out of all of the 4 years, because I did all my work at home. So all I did was study, all I did was read, and then eventually all I did was smoke weed.
Sure.
That rhymed. And I did really well, but at the end of my high school career, I had too much control, and I did a lot of drugs, and I did a lot of things that hurt my brain. And my mom ended up actually pulling me out of school and making me go to school on the Indian reservation where she was the high school principal so that she could watch me.
Wow.
Yeah. So school was always a really weird ball of anxiety for me because the people was what made it hard. People made it really hard for me. Like, I couldn't become a tattooer for 4 years because I didn't know how to talk to people. I was just mortified, you know?
Sure.
But I grew up out in Vail, completely secluded, and all my friends were assholes. So how would I know how to talk to people, you know? But
you wouldn't.
Yeah, but that's
No
why
way.
school wasn't for me either. Like college, the college experience, you know, everyone was like, you need it, you need to have it, like socialize, be around people, party, do whatever. And I hated all of that, you know?
There's some truth to that, though. There is some truth to being around that environment and really experiencing that, because you'll never experience that outside of college. There is no substitute for the college experience.
No, definitely not. But I think I was already kind of ruined through my childhood with that, because I've never enjoyed partying. I've never enjoyed like anything, because I just watched my brothers do it all the time. But they did like hard drugs and a lot of scary shit. So when I was introduced to like my friends doing cocaine and stuff like that, it gave me like PTSD. Like I would start hyperventilating, having anxiety attacks, and I would just have to leave the situation, you know? But that's why like the daily routine of school just wasn't for me. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's totally valid.
Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry, I got really dark for a second.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't do it. And I don't think I could ever go back to school. Like my brain.
You don't think you would ever finish?
No.
No?
My brain isn't like elastic enough for that, I don't think. Like I've done way too many psychedelics.
You never know.
I don't know.
I mean, there are still people who go back to college, you know, in their 30s.
I think if I went back to school, I would go back to school for art. And I would learn more of like muscle memory than anything.
I think you should talk to Jimmy about that. I think he's got a lot of stuff to say about
that. Well, exactly.
that.
And I do ask Jimmy for a lot of advice, and he's definitely taught me more. Like I was here during my college experience. I was at Grape Ape almost every single day. This is where I wanted to be, you know? It was my safe space. I would come here and do homework. Yeah. So I've always really admired Jimmy, and I always felt like I learned more around him than I did anywhere else, because he's someone who's not just feeding you the mundane day-to-day, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like propaganda bullshit that they try to teach you in like structured schooling. You know, he's going to try to tell you what his truth is. It's may not necessarily be the truth, but it's his truth. And
he got to that point because he did went through all that. Yeah.
Which is crazy to me, you know? But I love talking to him about just about anything. Anytime I'm like, I'm really confused about this thing and it doesn't make any freaking sense to me. It's just way too much for my brain to understand. And he can just dumb it down and simplify it for me and explain it in a different way, and then go completely off to where I don't understand him anymore.
He's good at that.
He's so good at that.
He's really good at that,
Good. So good.
Yeah.